Luna in Brussels. The train moved slowly out of Amsterdam, and Luna sat by the window. She watched the flat green fields pass by. She watched the grey sky. She felt the gentle rocking of the train, and her eyes grew heavy. But she did not sleep. She was too excited. Luna was going to Brussels. Brussels was not a new word to Luna. She had heard it before in a cafe in Taipei from a woman with red hair and a loud laugh. That woman was Sophie. Sophie was a food writer. She traveled the world eating things and then writing about them. Luna had met her in New York in Central Park on a warm afternoon in October. Sophie had been eating a pretzel. Luna had been watching a pigeon. They had looked at each other, and somehow, after that, they had been friends. That was how friendships worked, sometimes, quietly, without a plan. Sophie had said, Luna, if you ever come to Brussels, you must find me. I will show you everything. And I mean everything. Luna had tucked that sentence away inside her, like a leaf pressed between the pages of a book. And now here she was, on a train going to Brussels. The station in Brussels was large and busy and smelled of coffee and something warm and sweet that Luna could not quite name. She stepped off the train carefully. The platform was crowded. Suitcases rolled past. Voices spoke in French, in Dutch, in languages she did not know. Luna looked around. And then she heard it. Luna. Sophie was standing near the exit, waving both arms above her head. She was wearing a yellow coat and a very big smile. Luna walked quickly toward her, her tail held high. You came, Sophie said. You actually came. Luna pressed her nose against Sophie's hand by way of hello. Sophie laughed. Come on, she said. We have a lot of eating to do. The first thing Sophie showed her was the chocolate. They walked into a small shop on a narrow cobblestone street. The smell hit Luna before they even reached the door. Dark and rich and complicated. Sweet, but not too sweet. Warm, but cool at the same time. Luna did not fully understand how something could be all of those things at once, but this smell was. Inside the shop, there were chocolates arranged in rows behind glass. Round ones, square ones, ones with flowers pressed into the top, ones dusted with powder, ones wrapped in foil. And Sophie spoke to the woman behind the counter, and a moment later a small box was handed over. Outside, on a wooden bench, Sophie opened the box. Inside were 6 small chocolates, each one a little different. Luna sniffed the first one carefully. Then she took a small bite. It was the kind of taste that made you go quiet. Rich, smooth, with something underneath, almost something bitter, that kept the sweetness from being too much. Luna sat very still and let it melt. Good? Sophie asked. Luna blinked slowly. Sophie laughed. I thought so. After the chocolate, there were fries. This surprised Luna. She had not expected fries to be something special. She had seen fries before in many places. Long ones, short ones, thin ones. They were just fries. But Belgian fries, Sophie explained, were different. They were fried twice. That was a secret. First, at a lower temperature to cook them through. Then again at a higher temperature to make them crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. They came in a paper cone with a little wooden fork and a large spoonful of white mayonnaise on the side. Luna was uncertain about the mayonnaise. She looked at it for a long moment. Trust me, Sophie said. Luna tried one fry, dipped carefully into the mayonnaise. She tried another and another. The outside was crunchy. The inside was warm and soft. The mayonnaise was tangy and creamy and somehow made everything better. They sat on a low wall near a small square and ate the whole cone between them. The afternoon was cool but bright. Pigeons walked in circles on cobblestones nearby. Luna watched them with one eye, but she was mostly focused on the fries. Then came the waffles. Sophie had been talking about the waffles since Amsterdam. Luna had not known what to expect. A waffle was a waffle, she had thought, a flat thing, a breakfast thing. She was wrong. The waffle that arrived was thick and golden and dusted with powdered sugar. The edges were crispy. The inside was soft and airy and slightly chewy all at once. It smelled of butter and vanilla and something that was simply warmth itself. Luna ate her portion slowly. She did not want to rush it. Around her, the city moved. Tourists took photographs. A street musician played a slow, sweet melody on an accordion. Children chased a football across the square. The sky above Brussels had turned a pale gold as the afternoon faded. It was, Luna thought, a very good city. It was Sophie who suggested a beer. Hey, you cannot come to Belgium without trying the beer, she said. It is part of the culture. Luna tilted her head. She was a cat. Beer had never been part of her world, but she was also a traveler, and travelers tried things. Sophie ordered a small glass at a cafe on a quiet street. Dark wood, old paintings on the wall, soft voices. The glass arrived looking elegant with a small white foam on top. Sophie slid it carefully in front of Luna. Luna leaned forward and sniffed. It was strong, very strong. A sharp, complex smell that was not unpleasant, but was also not anything Luna had ever encountered before. yeasty, bitter, something almost fruity underneath. She took the smallest possible sip. She sat back immediately. Her ears went flat for a moment. Then she straightened them again because she had some dignity. Sophie was already laughing. Too strong? Luna gave her a look that said clearly yes. Fair enough, Sophie said, and took a sip herself. It takes some getting used to. Luna went back to the small glass of water Sophie had also ordered for her and decided that she was perfectly happy with that. Not everything had to be for everyone. That was also part of traveling. Later, as the evening came, they walked along the streets together. The city lit up slowly. Yellow lights in the windows. Strings of small lights above the market stalls. The old buildings looked soft and warm in the dusk. Luna walked close to Sophie's side, her tail brushing gently against Sophie's ankle from time to time. They didn't talk very much. They didn't need to. Sophie stopped at a small shop and bought 2 more chocolates, wrapped in paper. She tucked one into her pocket and gave the other to Luna. For later, she said. Luna tucked it carefully under her scarf. They walked a little further until they found a low stone wall near a fountain. The water made a soft sound. The streets had grown quieter, and somewhere nearby a cafe was playing slow music. I'm glad you came, Sophie said. Luna rested her chin on Sophie's arm for a moment. That was all she needed to say. That night, Luna found a warm corner at the bottom of Sophie's sofa, under a blanket that smelled of lavender and old paper. She folded herself into it neatly. She thought about the chocolate that made her go quiet, about the fries in the paper cone, and about the waffle with its crispy edges and soft inside. About the beer that had been very much too strong, but she did not regret trying. She thought about Sophie and her yellow coat and her loud laugh, about old friendships and new cities, about how the world was full of small tables with small plates on them, and how those small plates could hold very large things if you paid attention. She pressed her nose to her paw. Brussels, she thought, was a city worth visiting. Maybe even twice. Her eyes grew heavy. The fountain outside made its soft sound, and slowly, gently, Luna fell asleep. And if you're listening to this right now, I hope you have had something good to eat today. I hope you have a warm place to rest. I hope somewhere in your week there is something as good as chocolate on a cold afternoon. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and sweet dreams.